Again, it gives people a little bit of time to come in. So we're live. I keep forgetting. This is our high-tech countdown timer. I don't know if you can see that very well.
I can.
You can. Of when the show is going to start. Here, I'll put this over here.
Okay. And it goes until past. Is that correct?
The show goes till past.
Okay.
It'll give you a little bit more. It's like a culture thing almost. We've got all these rituals. So we have the pre-show, the red carpet.
Great.
That's what we're doing now.
Cool.
Yep. And then we go into the show. Here, I'm gonna make sure I have my glasses. There's a whole thing for that. And then after the show, Arthur's going to say, cut it. And then that's the end of the show. After which we actually don't stop streaming live. We sort of take a deep breath, relax a little bit, and then chill for a little bit and chat about, how that went and all that kind of stuff. And then we actually do cut.
Okay.
Usually when we end, then we actually stop going live and we end, and then we debrief after. And then we end. It's this whole thing, Andris. I have to apologize right now. It's just whole thing. I don't know how it's evolved to this.
No. Don't be silly. I'm just going to open my window here, get some air in here.
But it's working for us.
Okay.
Which is like probably the most important thing when you're doing one of these things, eh?
Yeah, sure.
So good to see you, man. How you doing?
Well, I'm doing pretty good, I'm just checking out my COVID haircut, my COVID cut in the camera here. You're looking good there. Long hair.
Yeah. I got my haircut just before all of this was going down, like a month before. And for the first time, because usually I wait about, I wait about 6 months before I get my hair cut. Then I get it all cut. And I wait another 6 months before I get my hair cut. And for some reason, I was like, you know what? I think I'm kind of liking the length. So let's just keep it, but I'll maintain it. I was like all ready to invest in my hair, which I usually don't invest in. And so I did that. And then this all went down. And I'm like, this is getting a little bit scruffy for me, a little bit more than I had bargained for.
Now, didn't you have a beard for a while?
I did until this past weekend. Yeah. I shaved it for my daughter's surprise graduation thing we did.
Yeah.
I just realized we both shaved at the same time. It's kind of awkward.
Whoa, okay. Yes. So how much do we got going here? Got another.
Did it stop?
Did I stop it? Darn it. Where are we?
We should have 3 minutes.
3 minutes to go. Not 42 seconds. All right. Jeez. It's just one thing. Here, I'll go 3 minutes, add, start. Okay, 3 minutes to go.
It's 2 minutes now.
All righty. Let me just get set up here. Let me get Restream going. The Restream chat. It's always nice to see what's going on with. We actually have this whole setup, Andris. We're streaming to 5 different platforms. We're even streaming to Twitch.
Really?
Yes, which again still makes me super uncomfortable that we're streaming to Twitch because we're not playing video games.
Okay.
But we're giving it a shot.
And that's a video game platform.
It's a very much a video game platform. And so
but we always need to do things that make us uncomfortable, right?
There's a lot of opportunity for growth there.
Always opportunity there, for sure.
Yes, absolutely. And so we have this chat platform, this Restream, that actually synchronizes all the chats across all the platforms. So if somebody's chatting on Facebook, it actually shows up on YouTube Live and shows up on Periscope with Twitter.
Cool.
Doesn't show up on LinkedIn yet because they're not letting us in yet. So
interesting.
Yeah,
okay.
LinkedIn. LinkedIn Live, I guess, is
the gatekeepers.
Yeah, usually when a platform that I've noticed goes live, like Facebook did this too, before it's rolled out to the general public, they usually just have sort of like a higher criteria. They want to individually evaluate it just to make sure that I don't know, maybe they're working out the kinks in the system, or they want people to find value in it early on when they're actually maybe, I believe when you go live on LinkedIn now, they're very public about it. In other words, they broadcast it to everybody.
Right.
Later on, they'll have more of an algorithm on who they're going to show the go live to. Right? So, oh, thank you very much, Richard. I don't have my intro music set up. We actually have intro music, Andris.
Nice.
Yeah, one of our viewers gave it to us. He actually created it, gave it to us.
That's very nice.
Yeah, isn't it?
That's very, very nice. You got good people around you, Brent.
Have amazing people around
That's why
me.
I'm here. I'm just gonna grab a little more water. Okay, I'll be back in a second.
All right, very good.
Yeah. Still hear you.
Oh, right. So amazing. Actually, the most fun thing I'm having with this, Andris, is we have people that return. Right? The people who are watching now are regulars, and there's nothing that, like, if you want feedback on if you're doing something that has some value, is that somebody checked it out and then they came back.
Yeah,
right?
Of course. Repeat customers.
So there we go. Okay, we are ready to go. Whoops. Let's get this together. Okay, that's our signal. And the show is about to go. I actually put on, like I said, we got a whole thing going, right? The glasses have to go on. For some reason, that makes it work for me. All right.
Andris, you got the memo, but bring your sunglasses, right?
You got shades?
I didn't look at that memo.
Was
there a memo? You're serious? Are you serious? I can get them.
All right, yes, get your shades. Okay, we'll wait for you in your shades because we're cool cats.
I don't know if I can wear them the whole time. I mean, they're not prescription, so I won't be able to see you that well.
It's cool. We do take off the shades after the intro. Oh my gosh.
Okay, just for the intro. Fine.
This is just for the intro. Okay, I think we are now really ready to go. Okay, intro music cue.
Oh, you're not sharing sound, Brent.
Oh, okay. Hold on. Back up. This is only
redo.
Dude, this is only episode 43. It's not like we've practiced this. Okay, hold on. Share screen, advanced, music on computer sound only. That is now being shared. Thank you very much for that, Arthur. And we are going to go live now.
You've tuned in to COVID Marketing with Brent Kobayashi and Arthur Tutt, the show to support small business not just to survive, but to thrive.
All right, we are live with COVID Marketing episode number 43, and we're coming to you from the socially distanced office of Kobayashi Zeitgeist. And yes, this is a show not just to support small business to survive, but to actually thrive. We're here week daily at 11:11 Eastern Standard Time. If you have questions on marketing, business, or well, whatever, let us know in the comments wherever you are watching this. I am Brent Kobayashi, president of Kobayashi Zeitgeist, a marketing agency here in Toronto, Canada. With me is Mr. Arthur Tutt, a marketing specialist here at Kobayashi Zeitgeist. And with me is Mr. Andris Pone, marketing, branding expert. I am so excited to have you here on as a guest expert to talk about pivoting the business, pivoting the brand. And Andris.
Glad to be here, Brent. Good to see you again. Oh, can I take my sunglasses off now? I'll actually be able to see you.
Yes. Now I'm actually glad to see you. There we go.
Hey, you got a shave. Well, good to be here. Thanks for having me.
I'm beeping again. Hold on. There we go. Many alarms telling us we've got to do this thing now. So, Andris, I knew when I started this and I wanted guest experts on that I wanted you on. You've joined me in the past on a show that we did, Kill the Guru thoroughly introduced what you took the audience through and the members of that program through. And a lot has changed since then.
I'll say, yeah. What did we talk about? We talked about, I think it was like my 3-step process to build your own brand foundation. I think that's what it was.
Yeah.
And, you know, if you think about it, that process is all about defining who you are. What's your business? How is it different than everybody else? What's your unique gift? And when it comes to today's topic, you know, if you're going to pivot successfully, you need to have an understanding of, in my view, of exactly who you are now, what you stand for, what your brand is now. You know, when I think of pivot, I think of that, the metaphor from basketball. You know, you've got one foot on the ground. You can't move that foot. You can rotate 360 degrees, right? You can see what's around and figure out what you're going to do from there on, but you got to keep that one foot down. And I would visualize that one foot as your brand. You really want to know who you are, how you're different, so that you can get the most out of your next move. You know, if I'm in the branding business, if I decide to pivot to, and I think cleaning is a really big opportunity. I think industrial and residential cleaning is a really big opportunity in this new normal. But if I was to, you know, Coin was to get into cleaning business, that wouldn't make any sense. It has nothing to do with my current brand, right? So that would be my starting point. Make sure you have that foot down. Your brand, your brand is your foot. Pivot from that.
So, and this is, I was going to say, let's define a pivot. And I think you just defined a pivot for me. A pivot is you're still the same company. You're just looking at what's going on around you, you're assessing, and you're now making a turn. It could be a turn in many different directions, and we'll get into it. If you, Andris, you know, branding expert, doing what you're doing now, or to say, I'm going to do a cleaning company, basically what you're saying is, I'm closing a company, I'm opening a company. You might be pivoting in your life, but the company itself is not doing a pivot.
Does that have a different name?
I would think of that as a, you know, for in branding parlance, I would think of that as a complete and utter rebranding.
Right.
This isn't just a new logo. This is a fundamentally new. It's a new strategy, and it might even be big. It might even be bigger than that, because I think of a pivot as being a change in strategy. That's another way I would think of it. A pivot is a change in strategy. But you know, if I turn myself into a cleaning company, I wouldn't even consider that a change in strategy. I think that's far bigger than that. That's a fundamental, top to bottom, transcendent change in everything that I'm doing. So that would be a complete. Let's call that a reinvention.
I think I could see it, Andris. Coin branding and cleaning.
That's the whole thing. See, no one would buy it, and I want people out there. I want people, if they're doing some kind of pivot, I want their audience to buy it. Number one, maybe that's even number two. Number one, I want them to think very carefully about what their core competencies are. What are the core elements of their brand? And okay, now that I understand those, what are the, you know, what can I do differently? How can I take those elements and run with them?
Gotcha. So now, I mean, I wanted you on because these are interesting times. We talked about this. We could talk about pivoting and all this stuff. But I guess my question for you is, if a business is down, and there are many businesses that are down, or certainly feeling down, is a pivot really necessary? Is this the time?
Let's not get pivot crazy. The word, I really didn't like the word before the pandemic. I thought it was overused. I thought it was a cliche. But now I can see the value in the word. I think its usefulness has been regenerated. So pivot, great word. Does everyone need to pivot? No, I don't think so. I don't think we should get too pivot happy, because, for example, in my in my ecosystem, I have strategic partners who are simply marketing themselves harder. The very first question I would urge any small business owner or any business owner to ask themselves is, am I marketing effectively enough now? Am I marketing hard enough now? Concrete case in point, I have someone in my network who is in the graphic design business, and I've just seen a lot more marketing from her, and I think it's fantastic. And she was talking about how, you know, I didn't have quite as much confidence before to be really out there with my marketing, and now, screw it. I have to get out there. So that's the number one thing I would suggest everybody do is look at that. Now, also, I'm a big believer, and this is maybe slightly a little off tack here, but I'm a big believer in repeatable subscription, passive income, and setting yourself up to, the most important thing anybody can be doing right now, besides just, paying the bills, preparing for the next big dip, the next big crash. I think everyone kind of agrees it's going to happen in some way, shape, or form. Let's do that prep work now to be ready for that. Let's have no one find themselves 6 months, 3 months, a year, 2 years from now. Oh no, it happened again. What am I going to do now? I certainly don't plan on being in that position. Now is the time to really, if you would, pandemic proof your business by doing some kind of pivot, some sort of new revenue streams, some, again, focus on passive subscription income that can carry you through.
Yeah. So, it goes to a thought that I had, and I don't know how to fully articulate this. Maybe you can help me out. There are some businesses that understand having no business during like a huge swaths of the month, like a huge swath of the year.
Sure.
You call them seasonal businesses.
Yeah.
Right. So, you're a landscaping company. You're not in a landscaping business, at least in Toronto, in the winter. You just aren't. There might be some stuff you can do, but you're really not in the business. Retail businesses quite often understand, like a flower shop understands, my season is Valentine's Day, Mother's Day, and they're actually built for that.
Right.
And I know that restaurants also have seasonality, and we talk about seasonality in lots of business. I think that understanding what can happen, and that this is now a possibility that this can happen, and sort of building up your resources, your playbook almost, so that when this does happen, it's a good thing. Because like a fairly sizable landscaping company, we've worked with a few. In the off season, it's not a non-busy season. They might have less staff during that time, but it's a very productive time. They know what to do to strengthen their business during the off season. I think this one hit many of us, and a lot of us just did not know what to do. I love what you said about marketing harder, because I saw you do that. I saw you immediately get on LinkedIn. You started showing up. You started recording. You started doing the marketing. We did the same thing.
More video.
More video. Get yourself out there. Show up. Have a voice. And so, in that sense, would you consider that a pivot? It's not really a pivot. It's like seeing a weakness in.
I wouldn't call that a pivot. I would say you can call pivoting your marketing if you want to use that.
Yeah, sure.
Pivot light.
Just pivot light. It's looking at what you're doing now and trying to improve it. I don't think anybody should be able to say, you know what, I was marketing at 100% efficiency and effectiveness before. There's no way. Everybody has room to improve. So most definitely now is the time to look at that instead of saying, oh my God, I'm toast. I have to do something new. It's sort of like the idea of it takes it's 7 times more expensive to get a new customer than to work with one you have. Well, I would suggest that you can get cheaper leverage out of just amplifying your efforts, your current efforts, than you can versus doing something completely new. It's gonna, it could be costly. Pivoting comes with a cost.
So, having said that, have you seen any really good pandemic pivots?
One that I love is a partner of mine. Their name is La Closet. They are positioned as Toronto's premier fashion consultancy. And it's really simple. A lot of their business, a significant portion of their business involves styling people in person, going to their house, going out to shops, and so on. They have a big contract up at Yorkdale Mall. They're the official stylist for Yorkdale Mall. Well, guess what's happened to Yorkdale? Okay, so it's very simple. They're just doing style consultations on video. on Zoom,
Hmm.
FaceTime, whatever. It's not that complex. And if that just sounds too simple for you, like, okay, Andris, anybody could have seen that coming. Well, I also know of a personal trainer who hasn't transitioned to doing her personal training over Zoom or online. And I don't know why that is. And I suspect there could be a fear component there. People are, it's a really difficult time for people. So I would want to encourage people to, be bold, be brave, try to do something different. I mean, I've been calling it a golden age of remote communication. People need to really take the bull by the horns right now in terms of online communication. So Lac Closet is doing a great job. Scarborough Golf Club. I have a family member who's a member there. And you know what they've been doing? They've been selling their groceries. Other facilities are doing that as well, but they can't run their restaurant. They've been selling their groceries. So, certain family members have been paying for this stuff, but living high in the hog on the beautiful cuts of meat and the freshest vegetables, because it's a really upscale business, right? They're doing a booming business, selling groceries and making some in-house stuff like their signature marinara sauce, for example, that kind of thing. Those are two local examples. I'll give you one more. Denny's in the United States is also delivering or having, you can pick up your groceries from them, and also providing meal kits and even recipes. So, and then I can think of another facility that I know of in Toronto that they've just shut down their catering business. I don't know all the particulars, but I just wish it was possible for them not to do that. I'm not sure what all the reasons are, but isn't this the time to rally your community around you? And, a lot of people want to see their favorite brand survive, so they want to help them.
So I've got a question for you, Andris.
Yeah.
What do you think is the difference between, if there's two business owners and, same bad situation happens, what do you think the difference is where one business owner says, all right, this is the end, we can't do business anymore, and the other business owner who says, okay, how can we approach this from a different point of view? And instead of serving customers in our restaurant, okay, we'll send them groceries. We'll send them our homemade marinara sauce. What do you think the difference is in people there?
I think it could be a wide variety of things. It could just be the personal resilience, professional resilience. It could be the cost structure, the way they're set up. I mean, the one institution that I mentioned, they are geographically removed from, I won't get into specifics, but they're geographically removed from, they're not, it's a place that you go to, that you need to drive 15, 20 minutes, half an hour, 45 minutes to get to. Whereas the golf club that I mentioned, everyone that patronizes that place lives right around it. So that model is going to work. So there could be some fundamental business model issues, no question about that. And it certainly may not be an apples to apples comparison, why one business can do it and one business can't. From a brand perspective, brand equity is incredibly important. How much equity do you have? How much goodwill do you have with your audience? If you've been working on that, if you've been building that up, if people love you and can't stand the thought of you leaving, they'll do more to support you. And if they don't really care that much about you, that's going to present you with a much bigger challenge.
So we're getting close to time up. This goes fast.
Man, it flies.
Doesn't it fly? Well, we are really focused on getting this down and out in like 19 minutes. That's really our goal. So I actually feel like I'm going to want to continue this conversation with you, Andris. This has been really, really fantastic. So maybe we can have you on for part 2. We're going to go a little bit. Yeah. Like, can you come back next Tuesday?
I'd love to. I might have a conflict that day. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I do. Let's see. I have a photo shoot that day.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you do have to send us photos.
Okay, that's
not
awesome.
Of me, of the client. Maybe I will. It's for a client.
Listen, before I want to. Are there any what would you say is a good starting point for a good pivot?
I think the bottom line is understanding who you are now, understanding what your brand is now. A brand is what people think of you. So what do your customers, your partners think of you? Do a little survey, informal survey, ask them for ideas. Again, I'm hoping that most businesses will have around them a community that wants to see them succeed.
Yeah.
And if you can, reach out to that community and say, you know what, we need to do a pivot here. What are the key elements of our brand that you see? And then, hey, do you have any ideas for us? Again, we want to pivot in line with the current brand. I just think there's more leverage to that versus starting out fresh in some unrelated field. So understanding who you are now, and that will give rise, that'll create ideas. And get a little crazy. Don't be, it's a really bad time for some people and they're really down. Yeah. And, maybe now is the time to do something a little crazy, a little outside the box we wouldn't normally do, but why not in some cases?
I love that so much. I love reaching out, talking to your stakeholders who are that's your clientele, your customers.
Yes, and when you ask people what they think, that is flattering to them. People like to be asked what they think.
Yeah.
And they're going to feel better about, I contributed to my favorite business's pivot, revitalization, and therefore I'm going to be really curious to see how this works out, and I'm going to want to patronize them going forward.
Support the effort. There was actually one pivot that I really, really would love to see happen is there's a restaurant that I know of, and they do live music at the restaurant. And of course, they might be shut down or they might be doing takeout. And the reason why people patronize that restaurant is partially because of the ambiance. It's really fantastic. It's a place I like to go, and I get this wonderful live music. I thought, geez, you've already got all of the connections. Reach out, say, we want to bring you the live music. We still want you to get the ambiance. Maybe we want you to even order our food while you get to come to this show that's online, Zoom, whatever it happens to be, and try to be an online marketer for live performance. You've already got the connection that you've actually had to cancel all of these musicians from coming. And for me, what that does is say to your local community, especially if you advertise it out, and it'd probably be free advertising because you can just do it in a Facebook group and everybody's going to be interested in supporting. They're going to want to come back to you first chance they get when they can actually see the live performance, live in person. And so you stay top of mind. To me, that's a pivot.
I love it. Yeah. I absolutely love it.
Brent, I don't know if you did that intentionally or not, but there was actually a great question from David Blackmore asking about how you would reimagine live events, like live music events going forward. And I think you just hit the nail on the head.
There you do. Okay. So thank you so much for Andris.
Thank you for having me.
We're going to go into our ending routine. You're awesome. Okay. So tomorrow's show.
Putting on my sunglasses again?
Actually, usually I don't do it with the sunglasses on, but maybe we will. Yeah. Okay.
Your show.
So on tomorrow's show, our topic is business to business, and we're talking about attribution modeling. I've always wanted to be a model. So maybe you're getting lots of traffic and maybe you're getting lots of sales, but how do you know what's actually leading to those sales? How is your advertising campaign being attributed to what your results are? I've had it go both ways. I've had way too much attribution lent to an online campaign where literally we built a website and maybe we're doing a PPC campaign and the client thinks everything that they're now getting from the website has to do with us. And it's not true. So we're going to dig into what that looks like and what you need to be doing with it. So with that, we are going to do our outro music. We have outro music, Andris. It's different than intro music.
Okay.
You've tuned in to COVID Marketing with Brent Kobayashi and Arthur Tutt. the show to support small business not just to survive, but to thrive.
Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us on COVID Marketing once again. Let's get you going. Love you all greatly. We want you to be successful. That's why we're here. Okay, now sunglasses can come off again.
Now we're in post show.
Yeah, actually, you know what? Now that I've done it, I don't think sunglasses on at the end works for me.
No?
No, but it's
Hey,
good to
for
try
sure.
thing things out. Yeah, we got to try these things
Sure.
out, right? Okay, so now, oh, sorry, Arthur, go ahead.
With with cutting it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we'll cut it now.
Okay, so that's the end of the show. I don't know why we do this. That's really good. I don't know. It is, you know what it feels like, Andres? It feels like play. It's actually getting to me with all this stuff. This is probably the best thing that's ever happened with this is the show. All that we're doing here is getting it to the point where instead of being like, God, I am dead with all the energy I just tried to put into doing this thing on screen with, you know, people watching on the other side of this camera, which feels a little bit dead, you know, the dead eye camera thing, to, I just feel excited. I feel like we're connecting. I feel like we're doing something valuable. Even just if it's valuable for myself, in that if we can help, if we can get to the point where we're helping other people, one person succeed. And I know that that's I don't know, it's almost a trope now. You know, when you're doing with the keynote speaker goes up, and if I could just help one person.
Sure. Yeah.
And the thing is, I think I understand it now, because when you can put yourself in the mindset of, if I can just help one person, then you stop thinking, how good do I have to be to help 5,000 people in front of me?
Right.
And then you can focus on helping that one person. And then it becomes a human thing rather than some sort of weird, messed up thing, which is, you know, one person talking with 5,000, trying to inspire 5,000 or whatever it is your message is. It can really mess with your mind a little bit. So if that's where I think, that's where I feel like this show has gotten to for me internally.
Good. Well, I'm sure you are making a difference. It's awesome. Good for you. I'm sure you are.
Thank you, man. I'm so happy that you joined us. Yeah.
My pleasure. And I would love to come back. Yeah, I figure there's lots more to cover here if I kind of look at my notes.
Yeah, I feel like we barely just
I
scratched
don't
the
know.
surface.
I would say we covered about a quarter of what I could have said. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Do you think to continue, it would be good to maybe get into a few more like practical examples, like come up with a few different small business examples to say, like, all right, well, if you work in this type of industry, here's some idea of what you can do, and versus this other industry, here's something you can do. Just something really practical people can take away.
sure. Yeah, we can make it practical.
You know where I would go with that?
I've got, I've got some ideas in that area as well. I mean, one thing we could talk, we could have talked about the cleaning business a bit more. The whole fashion business, big opportunity there. No one is dominating the field for pandemic fashion right now, and that's what I would call it. It's just a mess right now. The other day I saw the trikini. You know what a trikini is?
No.
Well, it's a bikini matching top and bottom, but now with a matching face mask. There's an Italian designer that came up with that, and I hope that she's trademarking it, because someone else is going to be. I mean, it's brilliant. I think there's a lot of opportunity there. Cleanliness, anything in the touchless business. Anyone who has permission to work in or around someone's home.
That just gave me an idea from the trikini, the quadkini, also including gloves.
There you go. There you go.
There's no end.
I haven't seen a pair of fashionable gloves yet. Is it possible to get them? That could be an enormous area of opportunity for people. So anyway, I've definitely got some more concrete ideas.
So I think what I'd love to do is we definitely have to have you on. This was absolutely ridiculously fantastic, Andris. So let's see.
I'm glad. It seems simple for me, so I'm glad to hear you say that.
No, so super valuable for me.
Okay.
So let's figure out the next time to get you on. If it's not next Tuesday, maybe it's the following one, or maybe sometime next week. We mix things up a little bit. I think
Okay.
where I'd like to go as far as practical examples is see if we can push this episode out there, and ask the questions again. Like if you want concrete real world examples, yeah, we can find them for you and start help people that are watching brainstorm. But yeah, people who are watching, dial in with your business. Tell us what's going on there, and we can figure out how to support you in pivoting, because I'd love to dig into it. So let's see if we can get a little bit more awareness.
Okay.
And then we'll see if we can come up with a bunch of stuff that we can sort of jam on.
Okay.
Yeah, Maggie's absolutely right. She's just piping in saying we could also do Fridays. So Fridays
Like
are
this
kind
Friday?
of this Friday would work, yeah.
If we want to get some more questions coming in, we might just want to wait till next week.
Yeah.
Like maybe we can do some boosted posting to try to get some good questions coming in and then regroup on those.
Let's do that. All right, deal. 2 Fridays from now, if you've got it available, Andris, how does that look?
Okay. So we're talking about the 29th, May 29th?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think so.
Yes, that's right.
Okay. Works for me.
All right. So now what we're going to do is we're going to end. And thank you very much, everybody, for joining us in the post show. Stay on for just a quick second, Andris, because we do that. I don't know why. We do that, and then we end.
Now we cut it.
Cool.
Okay, so yeah.